Okay, today we're going to go over fixing a leak on Pontiac, specifically a Grand Am. A lot of Grand Ams and other Pontiacs will develop a leak specifically on the passenger side of the floor, and it's hard to figure out where it's coming from. It's coming from one of two areas. The first area, which I've already disassembled this, I wasn't going to make a video, but I thought, well, let's go ahead and make it, is this cowling right here, or this plastic strip right in here. To take this off, a lot of people say you have to take the hood off, which you do not. You want to take the wiper blades off. They're simply two bolts right here. Two caps cover those. Pop those off, unscrew the bolts, lift the wipers up. Then you've got a series of screws that hold this piece in. Take those out, and you simply have the hood lifted all the way, partially, and then slip it out. Now, the first area that you want to pay attention to, well, you're going to want to clean this whole entire strip here. That's where the leak first develops. You clean off the inside there, scrape all that off with a razor blade. Where the leak actually ends up happening is right here in the flapper. There's your blower right here, and this flapper. There's simply three bolts holding this on. Actually four. One here, one over here, one down here, and then one up here, which you cannot see. Take those out, and all this crud gets built up in there, and then builds up back here, and that's where your leak develops. That's where it actually starts coming in the car. Starts here, works its way down to there. So what you need to do is clean this completely off and run maybe a bead of silicone on that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Be sure to disconnect your hose here before you take this off. There you are. And there's actually still some water built up in here, so I'm going to clean that off, and then I'll show you how to run some silicone on that and assemble it all back together. Pretty easy. Also, before I go any further, there is a weep hole down here past the blower, and that, as you can see, is clogged up. You're going to want to unclog that, and that also alleviates some of the leaking that's going down into your floorboard. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that as well. Get a vacuum down in there, and then get all that crud out. Okay, now that area is all cleaned off, got a nice layer of bead of silicone on there. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hook up our hose and put that back in there. I am going to set the camera down here. Actually, I may have to turn it off. Yeah, I will be back and show you what we do after this. Okay, we've set it back in place. Got the silicone on there. We're going to put on the blower shroud. Just put the nuts in. Now once we tighten this down, you're going to want to run a bead of silicone along all the edges once again. And after that, we'll be done with this section. We'll move on to the next. Okay, once you've got the black shroud back in place, you're going to want to run a thick bead of silicone right here. See that edge? What the problem is, from the factory, they do not have enough mounting screws, or locations for mounting screws actually, to really seat this against the windshield. I don't know if you can see that. Let's try to zoom in a bit. See, there's a gap there. So that's why a lot of Pontiacs leak, specifically the Grand Am, and not so much on the driver's side, but it's more or less the passenger side. See that gap? This is where it all starts, and it eats away the gasket down in the flapper. So run a thick bead of silicone, and I'm going to use black again, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. And there you have it, the finished bead. Not the prettiest looking bead, but there's huge silicone bead around there, and that should cure all your leaks into your car. Thanks again for watching. Please feel free to ask any questions. Thanks.